I want to just take a minute to exercise prerogative before I introduce the band I'm so proud to be part of, Zlatne Uste. But before we get there, I just want to say a few much needed thanks to a few people who haven't been on the screen so much, but have been absolutely indispensable. And you've heard a lot of performers give credit to, and here and in the chat, to the technical platforms and everything. But it's, the crews that are on Zoom, on Vimeo, the publicity people who help put this out, and the planners, the MCs, the Golden Festival Organizing Committee. There's too many people to name, but there are a few people I really do want to name and I really do want to call out, because really I've gotten a glimpse this year of what happens behind the curtain to make it all happen. And I really want to mention just a few people: Noel Kropf, Kathy Springer for their leadership on everything, Batya Bell for what she's done in the Charshia marketplace, and Charlie Pilzer for unbelievable technical support and as well and advice. And then there are so many of you we could be naming, but just know you're in there. And we want to dedicate this set to all of you. So thank you. Thank you for bringing us together at this time when it's so challenging, and we owe you a lot. So this is dedicated to you, and now it's my great pleasure. Zlatne Uste.
Godzilla, Kibari Amerika, Anarkaja, Uste nauka. Avaj, Ilja baba romane, Ilja baba tumenge, Akaja historija. Soačili višuži Godzilla, Kibari Amerika, Anarkaja, Uste nauka. Alla vla da je Lele Butman gavla. Alla vla da je Lele Butman gavla. Lele Butman gavla. Lele sarte lavla. Lele Butman gavla. Lele sarte lavla. Avaj tu mi Godzilla, tutke da nenkere, tutke merovasa. Tutke da nenkere, tutke merovasa. Bare kilja, tutke kilja vasa. Avaj tu mi Godzilla, tutke da nenkere, tutke merovasa. Tutke da nenkere, tutke merovasa. Bare kilja, tutke milja vasa. Alla vla da je Lele Butman gavla. Alla vla da je Lele Butman gavla. Lele Butman gavla. Lele sarte lavla. Lele Butman gavla. Lele sarte lavla. tekela, Natasha, ti si moja kraljica.
Duj,
Ovu pesmu čuj, čar, ti si Božji dar.
ajde tekela.
Natasha.
više sunca. Nema više meseca. Nema tebe, nema mene. Ničeg više nema pokriva nas ratna tama, pokriva nas tama, ja tebi ta moja draga, sta će biti sa mesečina, mesečina, joj, 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 sunce sija, joj, 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 sa nebesa zlatnija, niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne znam šta to sija. Mesečina, mesečina, joj, 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 sunce sija, joj, 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 sa nebesa zlatnija, niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne zna, niko ne znam šta to sija.
Wow, dear listeners, that was another powerful Golden Festival set from Zlatne Uste Brass Band, the group that started the Golden Festival and is still its beating heart. I can still remember the exhilaration the first time I heard Balkan Brass Band music when ZU entered the main room of the festival up in Inwood in 1996. Michael Ginsburg is director of Zlatne Uste. What does it feel like to be playing at this festival you started 36 years ago in a band you've played with for even longer? What changes over the years and what's still the same for you?
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about that, and actually, so the feeling of playing with a crowd gathering around you is pretty much the same whether it's 150 people or 900 people. You can only feel the people that are in the immediate circle around you, and you have
Right.
no idea about how far out the crowd goes. So, and I think that feeling of that happening is one of the things that has propelled Zlatne Uste. Um, I think without that kind of experience, we probably would never have made it this long as a band. We started very uh, modestly with a group of musicians who had just come back from Balkan camp, and many of them were in my position that we hadn't played our instruments since high school, and we saw that there would be a brass band experience. We dusted off our horns found them in the closet and brought them to camp. And the same kind of thing happened at camp. We played, I remember, Stuart Menon was the band leader, and he gave us a bunch of sheet music, and the music was black. There were so many notes on the page that the sheet was black. And I was very proud of myself if I could get half the notes right during the week when we played. But then the last day of camp, the brass band was the entertainment for the evening party. And many of the staff members who were pretty good on their instruments came to join us, and suddenly we had music. We played music and people were dancing, and the response among the dancers was just amazing. And that's kind of what happens at the Golden Festival. It's what we all feed on that so much.
Yeah,
Um,
I love what you're saying about that, that it's the folks immediately around you that you're aware of and interacting with, and
right,
there's an intimacy there, regardless of how many people are there.
right,
That's a wonderful
and
thing.
we
What about
had
musical
that.
changes for you over time? What
So
what about
yeah,
the music stays the same, and what either in ZU or in the tradition that inspires you have you felt changes in?
well, I have a couple of things about that. Number one, we were all kind of not great on our instruments, and our early gigs, I would you know say that our sound was noise and drum. Jerry was the drummer. He was very solid, and we weren't. But the solidness of the rhythm enabled people to dance to our music. And um,
I endorse that
so,
view. Yes, go
yeah.
ahead.
So but we had in common that we really wanted to play it well, and people, especially after our first trip to Serbia, where we all had the common experience of hearing the music in its context. That was amazing because we came back a totally different band, and so that was key. So our music has changed. The music that we are representing has changed a lot. Also, 1987, the harmonies and the melodies, everything was much simpler, and the music has gotten a lot more complex and sophisticated. Um, uh, And I always wonder. You see in 1987 wonderful brass band leaders of their family bands, and at fairly young ages, the father figure in the band gives up the leadership of the band to usually his oldest son. I was kind of wondered about that, and I'm watching what's happening in our community. That I grew up and watching these young people, when they're kids, struggling to learn their instruments, and now they're looking at me in their rear view mirrors, and it's like it makes sense. The next generation sets the bar higher, and it's just time for them to take over and become leaders, and that's what happens over there, and it's kind of what's happening over here too. A lot of young bands. We have young people in our band that'll eventually that are already assuming some leadership, and
Yeah,
so
it
that's
was so
changed.
heartwarming to see the video that we just saw and all the different ages there playing
Yeah.
together, and that feeling of passing on the experience and the information and the community and the sense of belonging and is wonderful. Jerry, you've been there since the beginning of the band and the beginning of the festival. Is there anything you want to share or talk to Michael about in terms of how things have changed or how things work?
Very quickly about the band, I would just add that, it's almost 40 years. It'll be 40 years in 2023. That's a really amazing run for any band. And I'd say partly because we're kind of like maybe the most realized Marxist society on earth, in the sense that it's, to each, from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs, in the sense that people go through different stages and phases of their lives and come and go, and members of the band come and go. But Michael in particular, I think, has always set a tone of acceptance and encouragement. And I mean this, Michael, for people to give what they can at that point and be accepting of that. And I just think, so, we run a little bit like a collective, and we're really supportive of each other. And that's part of how we, and made it through all these years. And Matt, we had some great time in the band with you. There've been so many other musicians who've come through. And, it strikes me that there's some parallel in how Michael thinks about programming the festival, in that generosity of spirit. And so, Michael, you have a big part to play in shaping the content of this festival and the spirit of this festival. And I have to say, one of the things we see in the chat is like, it always surprises you, Golden Festival. There's always something. And so can you talk a little bit about how you think about your goal for what you
Okay.
make
Yeah.
happen?
Okay. So, in the early days when there was only a handful of bands, in fact, three, I think, at the first festival. Jerry, you were in two of them. It was, we had this festival, and then people would call and say, "Hey, can we play?" And I said, "Sure," and that kept happening. It kept happening, and then I'd never say no. It was always, "Yeah, sure, come on, join in. We have a big party." Um, and I really liked that a lot. We didn't go seeking out people, and then they came to seek us and wanted to play, and they wanted, they knew they weren't going to get, there was nobody gets paid. It's just they wanted to be part of the party. And so, in the early days, it was just accepting everybody, and then we reached a point where if we accepted everybody, everybody would have 10 minutes to play, and it became kind of ridiculous to do that. So there were a few things that, priorities. And one was, I think, people who come from the Balkans and played that kind of music and represented their traditions, they would always get accepted.
Mhm.
And people who've been in our community for a long time and have played this kind of music, they were also kind of always welcome to join in. But also, it was important to have new groups. A lot of the groups that played in the festival made their debut in the festival, and I thought that, for us it developed as a venue for us, and so it's nice that it's also a venue for other people to come and have something to get excited about, to work on their music, so that they're making a good presentation. So that's also part of what goes on and what I look for. And of course, children's groups. It's nice. It's nice to have them too. So,
So, Michael, you enjoy telling a good joke. I enjoy enjoy looking over the program to see what witty surprises I'm going to find, and often there'll be a Norwegian music or a Brazilian band. How does that fit into your vision of the festival?
well, again, our Balkan community has wings. There's people in our community that have connections to other communities, and so the Scandinavian community has always been closely tied with the Balkan community. People from in both of those. So that was early on. We had Scandinavian music, but there were other people, other connections also, and they would call and say, "Can we play?" And we've had American music, contra dance music in the
So
festival a long
it
time.
sounds like it feels like about extensions of community for you more than type
I
of
think
music.
it is, yeah. And this year the Portuguese group well, this year was for me wonderful because I could say yes to everybody again. We're very happy
That's
to
great.
have, so we had so many groups, 40, 43, and as opposed to normally we have over 60.
Right.
But we're happy that people could get something together and play music and
Yeah.
present something in
Yeah. We
these
should extend
conditions.
a real thank you to all the musicians. It's always something people do out of love of the community and wanting to share. And this year, there's just an extra lift there to make it happen. So heartfelt appreciation to all the musicians who made it happen.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you both for taking the time to talk and for your music and for your friendship and for your leadership in our community.
Yeah, I
Enjoy
gotta
the
go.
rest of this. Oh, hold on,
I
Jared.
gotta run.
Hold on. I'll be right there, man. I just gotta.
Where are we supposed to be anyway?
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Oh,
What
Lord,
stage
right.
are we getting to? Enjoy the rest of this remarkable festival, you two. Let's turn to our next set, recorded
at you, man.
live in the Grand Prospect Ballroom at a Golden Festival of the past. It's the Gogofski Trio. It's a trio of clarinet, accordion, and tapan, led by Dave Goldberg. And I have to say that this sound and this repertoire is really some of my personal favorite music to dance to. And I have many fond memories of taking the hands of friends and enjoying these dances. It gives me great pleasure to share the warmth of not only this Macedonian folk dance music with you, but also the sight of all these folks enjoying themselves dancing at the festival. Here's the Gogofski Trio.